What's good, everybody? I hope everybody is having a great freaking day out there. Let me just get this stupid microphone out of my face real quick. What's good, man? Oh, I am pumped up to get live with you guys and discuss this. Can someone just confirm with me real quick that you guys can 100% hear me loud and clear as well? Hopefully the quality works today. I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of Aaron Rodgers rumors as well. And we're going to discuss this, man, because I'm tired of this, man. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of hearing um I'm so tired of hearing that we're going to get rid of Derek Carr because the truth is Derek Carr is here to stay and he's going to be a Raider for a long time. That is, of course, as long as he continues to win. Now, let's talk about this. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the draft. I want to talk about Jeff Heath as well. I want to talk about some rumors that are coming up. It'll just be me today. So if you guys are here for anybody else, it'll just be me. I apologize, but I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up. I appreciate all the comments. You know, we already have almost 100 people here. So if you guys can hit that thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. Let's just jump into this, man. Let's jump into this. People have been talking about Aaron Rodgers and saying that he is going to be a Raiders quarterback because the fact that the Raiders apparently don't want Derek Carr. And, you know, I understand that Aaron Rodgers is a great player, right? Because he absolutely is. You can't deny the fact that Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the whole entire NFL, right? Even last year, I think he was the MVP. He had 4,800 yards, or he had 4,300 yards, but he had 48 touchdowns to, I think, 5 interceptions. Those type of numbers, you can't complain about those, right? Those are top tier numbers. At the same time, Derek Carr had his most passing yards ever in any given career at, I think, like 41 or 4,200 yards. But more than that, he played a very conservative type of offense in the sense of how John Gruden wants it run. You know, I went back and I watched the Chargers and Raiders game, the game that Derek got hurt, and I watched Marcus try to run the offense the same way that Derek has already been running the offense. And things just look different, in my opinion, right? Like, Marcus was not as comfortable. He didn't run the offense the same way as in, like, when Marcus got up to the line of scrimmage, Marcus called hike the second he got up there. Like, there was nothing else to it. There were no, hey, I'm going to check into play 1 or play 2. Derek Carr checks out of plays like 5 times before he snaps the ball, right? We hear all the crazy audibles, all the ridiculous things that he says, all the fake audibles, right, as Derek likes to say it himself. You know, at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is a good player, but he's not for the Raiders, right? Like, Aaron Rodgers is not the Raiders' future quarterback. At the end of the day, the Raiders would also have to give up multiple first-round picks. They'd have to give up DC. And I'm not ready to make that investment in someone who's 38 years old. 38. I think I just think that's too old for a quarterback, minus Tom Brady. And again, people think Tom Brady doing what he's doing is the new normal. That's not the case. Tom Brady's the exception. Every other quarterback that I've seen play, 38, and you're done, man. You're done. Tom Brady, of course, is the exception to that. With that, if you guys could get Aaron Rodgers, would you guys want Aaron Rodgers, assuming that it's Aaron Rodgers for Derek Carr straight up, no picks, nothing? Let me know in the comments below, yes or no. Leave those comments right there. I'm very curious to see how you guys feel about it. So you got the first super chat of the day. Shout out to Todd. Todd said, hey, would love to hear your thoughts on Stoner and how he will compete at the slot with Hunter. I watched him, man. I actually went and watched I think it's the Oklahoma wide receiver. Let me just confirm that. I'm pretty sure it's the Oklahoma wide receiver, Oklahoma State. Yeah, so it is Oklahoma State. I wanted to confirm that. Dylan Stoner, I watched his play, man, and I'm not gonna lie, he looks good. He looks real good. If I had to compare Stoner to Hunter Renfro, I think Stoner's the better football player, right? And I hate saying that because Hunter Renfro's already doing it in the NFL. But again, this is just comparing how Stoner plays in the NFL as opposed, or I'm sorry, how Stoner plays in college as opposed to Hunter Renfro in the NFL. I feel like they're very similar players, right? Dylan Stoner kind of reminds me of like Jarvis Landry. Because Jarvis Landry, remember, he's not the fastest football player. Like Jarvis Landry is a slot receiver who he takes his time running routes. They're very similar to a receiver like Amari Rodgers, right? Or even like Marshall Terrence from LSU. Like these guys are not burners. They're not fast football players. They're just guys that like, kind of run routes. They create separation, and that's where I think Dylan Stoner is going to make his money. Will he ultimately replace Hunter Renfro? As of right now, I'm going to say no for the sole reason that Hunter Renfro has already done it in the NFL. Dylan Stoner has to adjust to the game speed. He has to adjust to being able to play against NFL talent. He has to make a ton of adjustments before he's able to get there. Now, here's the thing. If Dylan Stoner is able to make that adjustment, if he is able to get used to the speed of the game, I think he would be better than Hunter Renfro. I think athletically he's definitely better than Hunter Renfro. Height wise, I think they're about the same. But again, Hunter Renfro does a fantastic job. You can't discount that, right? Either way, I asked the question: would you guys get rid of Derek Carr if the option was Aaron Rodgers for Derek Carr straight up? The overwhelming majority of you are actually saying yes. If it's straight up, and I take them back, not the overwhelming. I guess it's just one guy spamming yes over and over again. I guess it's like a 50-50 thing. Ralph Raider, who is a member of this channel, huge shout out to you, my man. He said, hell no. Juan Nino said, no deal will ever be right. Green Bay will want too much for an old quarterback. I couldn't disagree with that, man. I couldn't disagree with that. Personally, I would not want Aaron Rodgers. I think at this point, the Raiders need to build for the long run. I think at this point, the Raiders need to be 100% certain with their quarterback position. I'm not sure what Aaron Rodgers' cap is, but there's a reason why Green Bay struggles to get more weapons and more players for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers eats up like 30% of the salary cap, right? The NFL is all about the cap. You have to be able to fit your players within the cap. You can't just spend a ton of money on one position. It's not going to work that way. It hasn't worked that way, and it'll never work that way. Before we jump forward, I want you guys to hit that thumbs up button. I also want to let you guys know that going forward, I will be going live every Wednesday and every Sunday. Originally, I told you guys I'll only be going live Sunday, but it seems like you guys love tuning in. It seems like I get a lot of great comments, and I love just interacting with you guys back and forth. Making videos like, for example, I made a Casey Hayward film study this morning, as well as last night I did a Casey Hayward short video. Those type of videos get lonely, man. Like, I'd rather be here interacting with you guys, asking us questions, seeing your guys' feedback, and all that good stuff. Todd Clements, a member of this channel, huge shout out to you, said, that's a good name, referring to Dylan Stoner. It's a name, man. It's a name. Huge shout out to Danny or Danner 310, left a $3 super chat. Thoughts on the signing undrafted free agent defense tackle Darius Stills? Thank you for the super chat. I definitely want to discuss Darius Stills, man, because this is a great pickup in my opinion. Here's the thing, right? And take this with a grain of salt. I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying he's about to be a Super Bowl MVP or an all-pro football player, because I don't think that's going to be the case. But Darius Stills has done a ton of good things at the college level. I talked to a couple of scouts about him specifically, and a lot of people have said that they were surprised he went undrafted. One of the main reasons why he went undrafted is because he's not very tall, which kind of sucks because that's a genetic thing. And I think his brother's still at West Virginia. So, yeah, man, I think Darius Stills can definitely make the roster. And I want to just confirm one thing. I mean, he's 23, so he is a little bit older. He's 284, 6'1", 284. So he's definitely smaller for a defensive tackle. That can definitely work, right? Like he's gonna get bigger, he's gonna get stronger. Let me fix my camera here just a second. It's always sideways for some reason. I don't know. I can never get that fixed, but yeah, man, I would love Dylan Stoner to make the roster. Darius Stills, I think, is a good football player as well. If he were to make the roster, I would not be mad, and I wouldn't be surprised either. Like flat out, I think Stills has, the thing that I noticed when I was watching his film is right off the bat, like the first thing I personally see from him is the way he uses his hands, the way he wins off the line of scrimmage at the point of attack. He plays a lot of inside, so he's going up against centers, guards. He's constantly taking on double teams. He definitely has an impact, in my opinion, at least from a defensive perspective. I would say he was one of West Virginia's better players last year. So I would say he was one of the leaders on that team. And don't quote me on this, but I do think he was a team captain. Again, don't quote me on that. Again, huge shout out to you, my man, for leaving the super chat. I really, really, really appreciate it. Sanjoku said props to you and your brother for quality shows. Huge shout out to you. If you guys are not subscribers, go check out Sanjoku's YouTube channel. He makes some great Raiders content on his channel. We have a lot of great Raiders content creators. You guys need to go check out every single one of the ones that are out there. Literally just YouTube it, Raiders content creators. Or maybe I'll comment and I'll put a link to every single one of their channels. And I'll pin that comment to the top. Todd Clements said no like 100 times. Yeah, man. At the end of the day, I know some people want Aaron Rodgers and then some people don't want Aaron Rodgers. It's a mixed bag, right? Like some people look at it like, well, if the Raiders get a top 15 defense this year, Aaron Rodgers can take us over the top and get us into the Super Bowl, especially with the weapons we have, right? Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards. I don't know if you would really consider like John Brown and Willie Snead like great weapons, but they're good. They're good football players. I think Boston Rowe's a good football player. We have a rookie right tackle. We have a going into his fourth year left tackle in Colt Miller. We have some good players, man. White Hat, $5 super chat. Huge shout out to you. Left a super chat saying chatter on the interweb that we are looking for a wide receiver one at the moment. Thoughts? I wouldn't be surprised, man. Honestly, I would not be surprised if the Raiders are interested in getting a wide receiver. I still don't think Henry Ruggs is a true number one wide receiver. At the same time, John Brown and Willie Snead are not number one wide receivers. Those are like rotational players to come in, play 10, 15 snaps a game. At the same time, Renfro's a slot receiver. We don't have a true number one wide receiver. A guy that can line up on the outside and just beat someone, right? A lot of people used to say Amari Cooper was not a number one wide receiver. And at this point in his career, I think Amari Cooper is a number one wide receiver. If we still had him, I think he would at least have been a great fit for the Raiders. If you guys haven't ever tried Buy, check it out. It's pretty good. They're not sponsoring this video, but I'm going to just get a sip here because my voice is already feeling it. I don't know if this is considered real tea, but it's pretty good and has a little bit of caffeine in it. So I think the Raiders need to get a wide receiver, man. You know what's crazy is last year we could have gotten ourselves a number one wide receiver. We could have gotten T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb especially would have been a fantastic fit. But we chose not to. We chose to go out and get a player like Henry Ruggs when, realistically speaking, if we wanted a speedster, we could have traded for John Brown last season or wait until this season. John Ross just became a free agent. I believe he was a free agent. He went to another team. So we could have traded for him last year if we wanted to. There were a shit ton of players that if we just took CeeDee Lamb last year or Justin Jefferson or one of these other guys that are true number one wide receivers, we wouldn't be looking for one at the moment. But I do think the Raiders need one because here's what it does, right? If you're Darren Waller, do you want to be double teamed all the time? Imagine if we had Odell Beckham Jr. on one side, or if we had DeAndre Hopkins on one side, and you had to bracket one of those guys, and you have Darren Waller on the opposite side, and Henry Ruggs to run a deep post. How do you stop all that, right? Like, it's almost impossible. So, yeah, I think the Raiders do need to get a number one wide receiver. Trad Lusk, huge shout out to you for the $5 super chat. have you watched our 2 undrafted free agent running backs, and what do you think of them? I haven't watched both of them, but I did watch the Wisconsin running back. I like him, man. Believe it or not. I don't know if he played exactly in 2020. I know in 2019 he was coming in and out for Jonathan Taylor. He looked good, man. Like the way he makes his cuts, the way he runs within, like Wisconsin runs a zone blocking scheme, which is exactly what Tom Cable has his guys doing. I'm very pumped up for him, man. I don't even know how to say his last name. I should have Googled it, but it's the guy from Wisconsin. I think he's going to be a good football player. And here's the thing, right? The reason why the Raiders are keeping Jalen Richard on the roster is because he's a great run blocker. Jalen Richard was a better run blocker, especially for third downs, than was Devontae Booker and Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has yet to develop that part of his game. And that running back could come in and replace Jalen Richard in that aspect. And at the same time, Jalen Richard struggles running the football. So when Richard comes into the game, teams know generally the Raiders are not going to run the football. I think there was also a play last year where it was like 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. We got in shotgun, and we ended up running with Jalen Richard, and he wasn't willing to run through the tackles. He tried cutting it to the outside, and he got tackled. 4th down, we punted the ball. That wouldn't happen with the Wisconsin running back. So let me look into the other one as well, and I will get back to you. I am shortly going to make a video of all the undrafted free agents. I haven't yet. I've been watching their film. Darius Stills was one of the guys that I watched. That the running back was one of the ones that I watched. We have a comment from a member, Shazi Saeed here. He said people kept mentioning Rodgers' age, but he literally won MVP last year. That's a great point, man. You can't argue with the fact that he was just the league MVP, right? You can say he's not a good football player or whatever else you might want to say about Aaron Rodgers. At the end of the day, he just won MVP. He just threw for 48 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Derek Carr threw for the most career passing yards ever in his whole entire career last season, 7th year. And you have players coming in and breaking out and going past that super, like Herbert, for example, just did that in his first season, 4,300 yards. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not sure exactly how many yards he threw for, but I do think yards are overrated, right? I'm not a believer that yards matter. I think your touchdown to interception ratio matters, as well as your third down conversion matters, right? At the same time, obviously you have to factor in how many possessions you're actually getting, right? For example, if Aaron Rodgers has 300 possessions in a full season and Derek has 200 possessions, you got to factor that in when you're looking at how many first downs these guys are converting. Either way, if you left it up to me today, I would take Derek Carr over Aaron Rodgers, because the long term, our team's building, we're going the right way. You can't deny all the talent we got in the draft, and we'll touch on that in just a second. Let's get into these next super chats. What you think about Trey Regis, running back out of Louisville? I haven't watched him, man. I do appreciate the $3 super chat. At the same time, I always keep it honest with you guys. I will never lie to you and just say, oh, I like him, and then move on. I always keep it honest with you guys. I've only watched the Wisconsin running back who I do like. Trey Regis, however you say his last name. I will check him out, and I will watch him, and I will break him down. Maybe I'll do a film study of both running backs together in this next week. $3 super chat. Huge shout out to you. I really, really appreciate it. Shaziz Saeed, who is a member, also left the super chat. So huge shout out to you, man. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry to be a dead horse, but why do we keep mentioning Rodgers when he – okay, so it's the same thing. Doesn't he have 4 years left? So you added that part to your comment. Here's the thing. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has 4 years left. Like, one bad hit, man, is all it takes for any player, especially as you're at the older age. I've heard stories of football players. Like, I remember hearing a story of Brett Favre saying that there was a play specifically that really made him think that I'm going to end my career or that I'm going to retire. And I forget who the other quarterback was. There was a quarterback that's now an NFL analyst saying something to the tune of he was a backup, he got older, and then he was asked to come in. And he took a huge hit, and that's when he realized that it's time to retire. It only takes one hit for Aaron Rodgers to realize that he's going to retire. And at the end of the day, how much are you willing to give up for a player that could retire literally next year or after this upcoming year? I wouldn't want to give up 2, 3, 4 first-round picks. At the same time, you're moving on from Derek. And then at that point, you don't have your future quarterback either. So what you're really doing is you're doing what Tampa Bay did with Tom Brady, but at the same time, they're in a little bit different situation. That Jameis Winston, who just threw over 30 interceptions, a guy they knew was not their future quarterback. But they had a great roster. They went all in. It paid off. For the Raiders, I don't know if it makes sense because we don't have that same roster, right? But from your comment, it looks like you would like Aaron Rodgers. If the Raiders were to get Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to say I would be disappointed. I just don't think it's the correct move today for the long run, right? I think for the long run, you continue building your defense, you continue building your offensive line, you get younger everywhere, you get some weapons. Yeah, man, I do appreciate the super chat though. Reno Raider left $2 super chat. What do you think about the Wisconsin running back? I love him, man. I think this guy is the real deal. Let me know what you guys think if you guys have watched both of these guys, and let me know what you guys think about the running back from Wisconsin, because I personally think he's going to be a really good football player. Now, I don't think he's going to be a superstar, so don't quote me. I hate when people always say you're way too positive about these players. I'm not going to trash these players, right? And at the end of the day, when I watch film, I look for positive in players' games, right? And you guys also have to consider there's a reason why Mike Mayock and John Gruden brought this guy in. They see some positives, right? So I don't want to focus in on the negatives when we already brought him in. So really, I want to show you guys some of the things they can do as opposed to things they can't do. But I appreciate the super chat. Maybe I'll do a film study of both of the guys. Juanino said Edwards will be much better. Ruggs healthy will likely be a lot better. And now we have Brown on the team. The offense will remain strong. That's a great point, man. I do still think the Raiders could use one more weapon. But I do think that with the weapons we already have, we'd be a perfectly fine team. I don't think this team is a bad team. I mean, just last year, we were missing half of our offense, and we're still the 10th best offense. I think John Gruden's a great coach. I think Derek Carr has done a lot of great things. I think we can continue winning. But as far as winning a Super Bowl, I see we add another weapon, right? Is there a free agent you guys would like? Let me know in the comments below if there's someone you guys prefer, someone you guys would like to get. Before we move forward, there's almost 400 of you guys live, and I really appreciate that. If you guys can hit that thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. I do want to talk a little about the draft as well, but I want to give a shout out to my older brother, Cole GT, who changed his name. I didn't realize he changed his name. If you guys are not subscribers to his channel, go check it out. He just started putting YouTube videos on his channel. I'll start making some special guest appearances on his channel, especially when I'm in the area. We don't live together or even in the same common area. He's out in Sacramento. I'm in San Francisco, so we're about an hour and a half, 2 hours apart. But maybe we'll start making some content together, man. Go check him out. He said no reason why Ruggs shouldn't be a minimum able to play the Nelson Aguilar role from last year. And I totally agree. Raider Films did a full film breakdown on Henry Ruggs, and he talked about how he was hurt and how that kind of impacted his game. And I never really had thought about that, right? Henry Ruggs had an issue with his knee. And as a football player in general, a knee issue is a huge issue. And it could really impact the player's ability to be able to run, be able to cut, make those changes and shift one way or the other. I love Nelson Aguilar last year. I had a feeling when the Raiders signed him that Nelson Aguilar could take that next step in his game, because a lot of the time when a player who hasn't really panned out on another team finally goes to a second team, a second system, sometimes they can get the best out of themselves, right? We've seen it happen with other players in the past. No reason why Nelson Aguilar, when he came here, couldn't have done it with us. Obviously, he'll be going to a third team now. But again, there's no reason why Henry Ruggs wouldn't be able to take over, in my opinion, of Nelson Aguilar's role last year. At the same time, I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up to kind of see what this offense is going to do this upcoming season. We were 10th last year. Do you guys think we're going to be better or worse this year? Let me know in the comments below. Huge shout out to Docs, Graphic Raider. I never know what to call you, man. Is it Docs or is it Graphic Raider? What do you prefer? But if you guys don't know who he is, go check his YouTube channel out. He was the one that originally got basically me, Honcho, Samoan, and Mitchell Rentz, who is on Las Vegas Raiders Report. He got us together, man, and that was probably the best show, in my opinion, Raider related, maybe ever, or at least that I was on, because I had a blast, I had a great time. I'll be on his channel making more appearances as well. I had hit him up on Instagram, so maybe I'll be on his channel as soon as this upcoming week. Go check his channel out if you guys are not already subscribed to his channel. We have a couple more super chats. Any questions, any comments that you 100% want answered, make sure to leave a super chat. I will always 100% get to those. Robert Taylor left the $5 super chat. Huge shout out to you, my man. I really appreciate it. No Super Bowl until we win on draft picks. We don't win on draft night. We have to wait and see. You're not wrong, man. You're 100% right. And at the end of the day, I do have faith that this draft class that we just had was a great draft class. In fact, I was just watching a video that Brett Coleman put out. A good friend of mine makes great YouTube content. If you guys are not subscribers, go check his channel out. It's Brett Coleman. He was talking about his 5 sleeper picks of the draft. Now, number 2, he had the Raiders safeties that we took. He said Trayvon Merring, Divine Diablo, even though we know he's a linebacker, and Tyree Gillespie was the steal of the draft. There was number 2 on his list. And he said that he loves what the Raiders did in this draft class. And, he's a smart football person. He understands the game of football. He gets it. And if he sees what the Raiders are doing this year, I'm sure other people are taking notice as well. It's just a matter of time until these guys really hit together, right? And I'm not talking about just this draft class. I'm talking about last draft class of 2019 when you get a player like Arnett and Henry Ruggs. The year before when you get Cleveland Burrow and you get Jonathan Abram and Josh Jacobs and Trayvon Mullen. It's just a matter of time until all these guys come together and really hit. And once that happens, our team's going to take that next step. We got rid of Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper. We've gotten rid of Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson, and we've traded these great players, right, in my opinion. We traded these players for draft picks. Draft picks take time, right? You're trading away, essentially trading away great players, and you want draft picks. That's going to take time for that to really develop. But I think the Raiders are getting to that point where Gus Bradley's going to be able to put it together and take it to that next step. We're drafting players. We've done a great job, in my opinion, keeping talent around that is good talent, right? I don't want average players, right? Like we just cut Jeff Heath, and we cut him for a reason. Like he's a good football player, but he's not a great football player. And that's what we're expecting out of the young players like Merrick and Gillespie and Divine Diablo. Those are the type of things that we want, right? Carr versus Rodgers. Reese Rock left the $2 super chat. Huge shout out to you. You said Carr versus Rodgers, 40-yard dime passer versus not that. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I think you're comparing Derek Carr to Aaron Rodgers, and you're saying a 40-yard dime passer versus not that. I guess you're saying the difference between the two is one can hit a player 40 yards downfield on the money, and I'm going to assume you are talking about Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is the better deep passer, which is factually correct. But at the end of the day, I hear you, but he's also 38, right? So he's much older. Docs also said, we've been playing for the long run for almost 40 years to get A-Rod. Hey, man, I hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. But at the end of the day, I think the Raiders need to build correctly, and I don't want to put all that cap investment into a player like Aaron Rodgers, right? People are saying in the comments we need Julio Jones, and some people are saying it's going to cost too much. I would not mind if we got Julio Jones, man. I think Julio Jones would be the fit. I know he's older. He has 3-4 years left in his career, but I think Julio Jones makes a lot of sense. Freddie Fuentes, and I apologize if I said your name wrong, Freddie Fuentes, left a $4 super chat. Huge shout out to you. No comment. Again, I really appreciate that. Papaya Man 89 left a $5 super chat. I'm liking the Hayward signing. Excited to see what Gus does with his defense. I love the Casey Hayward signing, man. I could not be more pumped up about this. I want to know what you guys think about that specific signing because Gus Bradley needs his guys. Gus Bradley needs players that are going to make a difference in the system. He needs guys that he can rely on. At the same time, do you guys personally think that Gus Bradley is bringing in Casey Hayward to replace Mullen or Arnett, or do you think he's bringing him in to maybe rotate in and out, at the same time teach these young guys the ropes, teach them exactly what needs to be done? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I love the Casey Hayward signing, man. If we brought in Richard Sherman, great. At this point, I don't think it's necessary because we already have Casey Hayward, who's a veteran. We have Nevin Lawson, who's a veteran, even though Lawson is suspended for the first 2 weeks. Then we have a bunch of young guys, and I know people are sleeping on Keyshawn Nixon and Isaiah Johnson. We'll see if they can take their game to the next level, or if ultimately they'll be cut. Right? How many corners are actually going to make the active roster? 5, right? And how many do we have right now? So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what ends up happening. James, huge shout out to you, who's a member of this channel. Said, "What up, my dude? I hope you're having a great day." Todd Clement said, "If we trade for Rodgers, we will have to make cap room, which might mean we can't afford a good defense." Fact, man. That's 100% fact. The San Francisco 49ers just did this. They just went through this situation where they had a pretty good quarterback, right? I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is a bad football player. Now, I don't think he's a top 12 quarterback that you can argue Derek Carr is. But Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback you can win with, right? As long as you put a good defense around him and a good team around him. But the Niners realized that Jimmy Garoppolo is eating up $30 million of the cap. So the Niners said that we're going to go ahead and trade this guy. We're going to go ahead and cut this guy. And although it hasn't happened yet, it's just a matter of time until Jimmy Garoppolo ends up getting traded or cut. And basically the whole point of that is for the fact that the Niners now have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. When you have a quarterback making all this money, the cap is really going to hinder the rest of your team. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner for the Niners, those guys need to get paid. And the Niners recognize that, and for that reason, they got a rookie quarterback. They feel that a rookie quarterback in their system can take them and win them a Super Bowl. If Derek Carr wants, let's say, $50 million in a year or 2 years, or 3 years, whenever he's due, and 50 might be exaggerating. Maybe it's 45. I'm not 100% sure because Mahomes already gets $45 million a year. So I don't know what the high contract will be in 2 years. But if Derek wants $50 million or $45 million in 2 years, and let's say the Raiders have a good roster, but at the end of the day, now they got to pay Max Crosby and Cleveland Farrell and Henry Ruggs and Alex Leatherwood and Darren Waller, Andre James, and you have to pay these good football players. You're going to have to make that same decision on Derek, right? Unless Derek's going to say, "I'll take $25 million. I don't think he does, man. And at the end of the day, if you can't build a good team around Derek does not have to stay with the Raiders, man. Either way, I'm getting off topic. I agree with you. Aaron Rodgers' cap space will hinder the Raiders. Huge shout out to Jack for a $5 super chat. I really appreciate you, Jack, because you're here every single day that I go live. Again, going forward, I'll be live every Wednesday, every Sunday. Make sure to tune in. My goal is I'll hopefully be able to go live every single day. Obviously, that's the goal. At this point, we're at over 450 people. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate and love every single one of you guys. Carr's and Aaron Rodgers contracts are very similar. Look it up. Love Carr, but not Aaron Rodgers. Age-wise, look at Tom Brady, who just won a Super Bowl. I didn't know Aaron Rodgers was not making that much money. So let me Google that really quickly. So Aaron Rodgers signed a 4-year, $134 million deal. Okay, they are not even close contract-wise. Aaron Rodgers is making $37 million a year. He'll make $38 million next year and $38 million the year after. So for the next 3 years, he'll make about $38 million. Carr's making $20 this year, $20 next year. However, I hear what you're saying because there is a chance that if Aaron Rodgers gets traded, there could be some of that dead cap that the Packers will have to eat up. And if that happens, maybe for whatever team gets him, it'll be cheaper for them. So if like the Raiders traded for Aaron Rodgers, maybe it's only a $20 million cap hit. I don't know the numbers exactly to that, but I hear your point on that. And I hear what you're saying when it says, look at Tom Brady, who just won a Super Bowl. I definitely hear you on that, man. But you do have to consider that Tom Brady also has probably one of the greatest rosters ever put together, right? It definitely makes a difference. Let's jump forward into the next super chat. And I appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate you, Jack, for the $5 super chat. Let's get into the next super chat left by my man Ryan James. He left a $5 super chat. With Ruggs, Edwards, Renfrow, Brown, also Waller, and Drake will both be used at wide receiver at times. Do you think Willie Snead and or Zay get cut before the 53? I think there's a chance Willie Snead gets cut. I don't know about Zay Jones, man. My man Raid the Tape really broke down Zay Jones, and he came to this conclusion. John Gruden loves Zay Jones' ability to block, and I'm not surprised, like at all. John Gruden loves those guys that will be willing to block, and maybe that's also Willie Snead, right? Maybe Willie Snead is also that guy John Gruden can utilize to make those blocks. But I do think that with the talent we have, Ruggs, Edwards, Renfrow, Brown, those guys are most likely going to be on the active roster, right? Like those 4 wide receivers will be on the active roster. Waller, of course, is a tight end. Drake's a running back. Those guys will for sure be on the active roster. Snead and Zay, man, there's a chance that they go. It'll be interesting to see. Again, I appreciate the super chat. Todd left a $5 super chat. Todd is also a member to this channel, man. If you guys aren't members, make sure to join. I put out a ton of good stuff, or at least I will going forward. I started to put out some members-only content as well. Todd left a $5 super chat. He said, box safety is the quarterback of the defense. You have to be super smart to run that role. Who do you see starting there under Gruss? And is Abrams that guy? I think Jonathan Abram is the Raiders' box safety. Look, I know people hate John Gruden, and I don't understand why, but if you guys are subscribers to this channel, just understand this. I am a John Gruden fan. I love John Gruden. And if there's one thing you guys can take from watching me, the way I speak, the way I tell you guys I watch specific films, I can tell you guys this right now. John Gruden's a special player. I posted this on Twitter just a couple days ago, and people made fun of it. People killed it. People talk shit about it. I said Jonathan Abrams, the Raiders' best defensive player. I'm not talking about the past, okay? I'm looking at today going forward and the potential that he's had. And there's a difference between potential that Jonathan Abram has and the potential Clelin Ferrell has. Clelin Ferrell's potential, it's not on film. Jonathan Abrams' potential, it's on film. You can see Jonathan Abram come up 15 yards deep and hit Christian McCaffrey, hit if it's Kareem Hunt or the receiver for the Buffalo Bills. You can watch him make plays all over the field. Jonathan Abrams is a special player. He is the Raiders starting safety. Jonathan Abram can miss this whole entire season with a season-ending injury. He will come back next year, and he will still be considered the Raiders safety. Some people have, I don't know how you would even consider this. Some people have considered cutting Jonathan Abram. I was watching a video yesterday. It's a YouTube channel called That Franchise Guy, and I respect him. I follow him on Twitter. He's a good guy. And obviously, I understand he doesn't watch the Raiders, but he was talking about the Raiders getting Trayvon Merrick, Gillespie, and Divine Diablo. And he basically said he now sees Merrick and Gillespie as the starters, and he now thinks that the Raiders are about to cut Jonathan Abram. Even though Abrams' contract's guaranteed for the next 2 seasons, right? I'm not sure the exact amount, but I'm pretty sure it's close to like $13, $14 million in total. It just doesn't make sense from a financial perspective. Jonathan Abram is the Raiders' future. I appreciate the super chat. Freddie left a $5 super chat. Shout out to you once again. Ruggs deserves more screens and slants. Waller should split out wide a little more and have Morrow step in. Carr doesn't force feed and run heavy system. I agree. Derek Carr does not force feed things. And at the same time, that can hinder the team a little bit, right? Like, at least in my opinion, I think it can hinder the Raiders a little bit. Do I want to see Derek make more throws downfield? Absolutely. I don't know how many times Derek throws the ball deep or how many times he did last season, but I'm sure he probably threw the ball deep about 2 to 3 times, depending on who we were playing as well. I want to see him throw the ball deep 7 times a game. Like, that's what I want to see from Derek. And that's why we need Ruggs to take that next step. At the same time, it'd be great if we can throw Henry Ruggs a screen or a slant like he did at Alabama, and he took it for a touchdown. It'd be great if he can bring that same production to the Raiders, because I haven't seen it. And this was why I was scared, and this is why I had Henry Ruggs as my number 7 wide receiver, because those type of things don't translate well. It's the same reason why I think Jalen Waddle could have been taken a little bit too high, right? He was a 6th overall pick. But I would say this, comparing Ruggs and Waddle, I do like Waddle more. I think he's a little bit more like Tyreek Hill as opposed to Henry Ruggs, who's more like John Ross, right? Henry Ruggs has great straight line speed. But he doesn't have 0 to 100 acceleration the same way like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have. And that's just my personal opinion. Again, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Zay Jones will have a breakout season. Book it. I hope so, man. I feel like we've been waiting for this for like 7 years now, especially if you're a fantasy footballer like myself and you've been taking Zay Jones in fantasy football. And I'm just kidding. I have not taken Zay Jones in fantasy football. But realistically speaking, I do think he'll have his best career year this year. But the targets are really going to depend on how he does, right? If he doesn't get the targets, he won't have a breakout year. Reese left a $2 super chat. Rodgers to Denver equals Raiders irrelevant for 5 years. I'm not going to disagree with that, man. Flat out, I'm not going to disagree with that. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Denver Broncos, the Raiders will suffer, and that is a fact. He is still a good football player, and the Denver Broncos roster is a good roster. They just got Patrick Surtain, which is going to help that defense. I think they brought back Justin Simmons. They might have the best secondary in our division, like flat out. That secondary is going to be great, and obviously they have Vic Fangio as their coach as well. That only benefits them that much more. Brian Rodriguez left the $2 super chat. Will Geno Atkins make sense for us? I don't think so. At this point, he is older. I don't think he's had the same production either the last few seasons. I would not want Geno Atkins. Keep the guys we have. If our defense is a pass rushing defensive tackle away, trade 2 first-round picks and go get Quinnen Williams. Trade 3 first-round picks. Go get Aaron Donald. Go get a pass rushing defensive tackle. And I know those guys aren't up there for sale, but go get a pass rusher. Go get a Fletcher Cox if you're a pass rushing defensive tackle away. But at this point, I don't think that's all we need. I think the defense, I really want to see where they're at, right? As far as ability to play within Gus Bradley's scheme. Cole GT, $5 super chat, huge shout out to you. Said, even if Derek wants 38 to 40, that's way too much. Derek was only worth keeping if it's 30 to 32. Do you guys disagree with that comment? Because I could not agree more. I think that comment is 100% fact. If Derek Carr wants more money than that, I don't think it's worth it, to be honest with you guys. And I know there was a super chat that I missed, so let me see if I can go back on YouTube because unfortunately, this is how it kind of works. StreamYard kind of sucks in that sense that if there's a super chat and I don't get to it quick enough, it kind of disappears. So let me see if I can go back to it on my phone. But with that, shout out to Feel Face for becoming a YouTube member. I really, really, really appreciate that. Huge shout out to you, man. I really, really appreciate it. It's going to be interesting, man. Like, I'm really pumped up to see what the Raiders are going to do this year because we have so many great players on our roster. We have so much potential on the roster as well. We have guys that could potentially really make a difference, right? Like from Trayvon Merrick to Gillespie, right? Guys that we just brought in, young guys that we just brought in. I think it's going to really make a big difference. Robert Taylor left a $5 super chat. Abrams was trying to do too much. When Heath was on, he had no help in run support. When any other safety was on Abrams, had no help on the back end. That is true, man. I don't think people understand that Jonathan Abram was trying to do too much last year, right? From the play in which he stepped up, in the play in which he allowed that touchdown to the Kansas City Chiefs, he was trying to do too much. And I know that's one bad play that everyone points out to, but that's only one play, right? At the end of the day, there's multiple plays. There's multiple things that the Raiders can do. And Gus Bradley's going to put Jonathan Abram in the best possible situation. He's going to allow Jonathan Abram to succeed. He's going to put him in the position. And at the end of the day, Jeff Heath's finally gone. I don't hate Jeff Heath, but I don't think he's that good of a football player. Plus, he was the one that forced that turnover on Derek Carr against the Cowboys that we lost in that one game. But Dirty Raider, $5 super chat. Huge shout out to you. Not interested in waiting on another quarterback trying to learn Gruden's playbook. DC4, greatest quarterback for Raider Nation for life. Ever just need a Super Bowl to solidify. Numbers don't lie. I definitely agree with you, man. Like, I'm not going to disagree with you. I know that right now, having Derek Carr and the fact that he already knows the system, that is beneficial for us, right? But at the same time, like, I don't think that matters that much, right? Like Tom Brady came in and Tom Brady came in and into the Tampa Bay system. He learned that system within 1 year. I know it took them a couple of weeks, right? Because at one point they're like 4-4 or something, right? And then after that, they didn't lose another game. But Aaron Rodgers is still a special player. And saying things like, oh, Derek Carr's in his third year, so Derek Carr is now ready to take the next step. I don't agree with that. I think if you need 3 years to learn a system, either that system's not working or that quarterback is just making an excuse. And I don't think that was ever really the issue. I think going into your second year is all you really need in a system. Honestly, 6 weeks and you should be able to make it work. If you're not, the system's overly complicated, man. And I know John Gruden's system is overly complicated. A lot of people have said that. But at the same time, it is what it is, right? I do appreciate the super chat, $5 super chat. Huge shout out to you. I know I missed one super chat earlier. I apologize. I don't know the channel's name on the top of my head, but I would recognize the thumbnail. So if you comment your super chat, I will answer it because I will recognize the thumbnail. I do apologize. Streamlabs goes too fast sometimes. But yeah, man, any super chats I will always try to answer. Sometimes I get super chats too quickly, and it is what it is. Braxton Walters up to $5 super chat. Who is your guilty pleasure small Raiders channel to watch? I like Tuna and Sun. Tuna and Sun Joku are both great channels. I don't have a favorite. I love to watch any channel, honestly. I'm subscribed to every single Raider channel, smaller channel. And if I haven't subscribed to you, hit me up in the comments, man, and let me know that I'm not subscribed to you. I like Raid the Tape. Raid Tape is a guest on this channel pretty often. He's a friend of mine. I think he does a great job. I know he spends hours making film. And at the same time, I know when some of the, not just Raiders content creators, but in general content creators, when they don't put the effort and the time into their videos, it shows, right? I can see it, and I'm sure other people can see it as well. At the same time, I here put a lot of effort into certain videos, right? Like I'll give you guys an example. The Casey Hayward video I did that like in 45 minutes last night. I did not put effort into it. The reason why I didn't put effort into it is because I knew that this morning specifically I had an obligation, and there was no way I was going to be able to do a video. And I realized that last night at like 10:45. So I knew that, okay, I have like just a little bit of time before I pass out. So I need to quickly get this video done. I see people talking about how I don't know, apparently there's someone talking trash. Someone said Sanjoku is goated the nation. Sanjoku makes great videos. Cole GT is a member of this channel. Huge shout out to you. 6 weeks, no way, it takes way longer. Year 3 in a system, the year, and that was the last year, and Carr balled out and had one of his best years. You know what's crazy is, you're right, Derek Carr did have one of his best years, but I want to ask you this. Derek Carr actually had his best year when it comes to passing yards last year. I think he had like 4,200 yards. Justin Herbert in 14 games just had 4,300 yards. So Justin Herbert in his first year as a starter in 14 games had more passing yards than Derek Carr has ever had in his whole entire career. Passing yards, in my opinion, are overrated. I don't care for passing yards. Points scored, the percentage of times, how much you're able to get into the red zone and all that good stuff and convert into touchdowns. That's the kind of stuff that matters, right? Things you see on film. When Derek Carr sees a guy open downfield, is he making the pass? When there's pressure coming from the edge, is Derek Carr stepping up, stepping to his right, making the throw? What is Derek Carr doing, right? And this is some of these things is why I have not been the biggest Derek Carr fan, right? I've seen him make things or make plays that I did not necessarily agree with. I made a full video about it, literally, and I got a lot of hate for it. That was about 2 years ago. I said Derek Carr is missing open wide receivers. At the same time, if we're going to replace Derek, we have to have the next quarterback. We have to know who we're going to use to replace him. But yeah, I don't agree with you necessarily that and when I say 6 weeks, I'm talking about by week 6 of the NFL season. But yeah, either way, shout out to you for being a member of this channel. Jesse Rodas agrees with Koji. He said facts. Shout out to you as well for being a subscriber and a member of the channel. If you guys are not members, make sure to become members, man. I would really appreciate it. I put out the Alabama offense versus Ohio State defense, all 22 out recently. That would allow you guys to watch Alex Leatherwood. I also put out a all 22 highlight mix of Alex Leatherwood as well. Aaron left a $5 super chat, said bring back Russell, Jamarcus Russell. LOL, just kidding. Love your show, Sanjit. Keep up the great work. Raiders. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the kind words. You know, if any single one of you guys don't understand this, I read every single one of you guys' comments, man. I come back and I'll rewatch this video and I'll see the comments. So I definitely see the people who leave positive comments and negative comments. Aaron, I appreciate the super chat as well as the positive comment. So a huge shout out to you. Raider Fleck, who's also a member of this channel, said Mariota is 0-1 as a Raider. Was that because of the defense? Some people would say yes, some people would say no. I think it was, right? You look at the first Chargers game and the defense won us the game, right? Isaiah Johnson broke up a pass to win us the game. At the same time, the second time we played the Chargers, similar situation. They're on the 1 yard line, and I think they snuck it in. They even might have fumbled, and the defense almost picked the ball up, and we would have won that game, right? Both games, the defense was the difference, right? But at the same time, Mariota, you're right, is 0-1, right? Technically, you can't disagree with that. Ty the Raider left a $2 super chat, said all love and respect. Huge shout out to you, man. I really, really, really appreciate the super chat. It really does mean a ton. Again, anyone that ever leaves a super chat, I really appreciate it. Let's get into the next super chat. Dirty Raider left another super chat, $2. We run more than any other teams. Open wide receivers drop passes. That definitely happens, man. We do definitely run a ton, and receivers definitely do drop passes. Either way, I appreciate the super chat. Jesse wrote us once again. Member also left a $20 super chat. Huge shout out to you, man. I really, really, really appreciate it. You know, again, I really appreciate every single one of you guys. Anytime I'm live and I have 400 to 500 people live, it really means a lot. You know, I do plan to start going live every Wednesday, every Sunday. And then maybe eventually we'll go live every single day, right? And at that point, maybe you guys will get tired of me and bored of me and realize that this guy's annoying or whatever it may be, right? But make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to have a video tomorrow, and it'll be very, very interesting. So make sure to tune into that. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate every single one of you guys that joined while we were live. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week leading into your weekend. I hope you guys all have a great weekend as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out.